per year. If you got grass in your rows, that's going to eat up a lot of your nitrogen. You can go to golf courses, they're spraying water all the time, they're fertilizing all the time. We don't want that. We're sort of the opposite of what's going on there. So what we try to do is get rid of this stuff. And the moisture and nutrients underneath here will then go to the plants. So we went through first right here. So these plants were a little bit peaked last year. I didn't like the way they looked, so I always have a map. I go through every block and write down the blocks that need cultivation, a little bit of help the following year. So we'll get that map out and we'll look through. And we come through with a spader first. See how the big chunks land down here? So a spader almost acts like it has large shovels. There's about 5 or 6 on it, wide, and they're a little bit wider than a hand. And they'll go down and just lift the soil. It just like this. It just picks it up and sits it back down. So basically it's almost a horizontal tillage, not vertical. You just think of a tiller you put in your yard. It's got the tines. It just goes like this. You're just mixing soil layers and you're creating a hard pan. We don't want a hard pan because that's compaction, and that's going to cause you problems later on with the vines. So by doing that spading, it actually will fracture the soil down and relieve that compaction, even though you're ripping stuff up in the process. And then we'll come through with a power harrow. That's what Steven's got on. That's the implement. It's called a power harrow, and that's more horizontal tillage. If you see those teeth that come down, he'll lift that up here in a second. And there's 5 sets of teeth that come down, and they spin in circles. And they'll bust up all these big clods. And we usually have to do it 2 or 3 times a year to get the soil worked in to where it's pretty fine. You see them spinning around there. Lost your breakfast. Typically in May, when we run this thing, we're not seeing dust. It's usually, well, we try not to go when it's muddy, but we want it to be a little bit more wet so you're not creating a big dust cloud, but it's not bad. It works. You see it's still a little chunky. Like I said, we have to usually, once this is done like this, it'll dry up pretty quickly with this wind, and we don't have any more rain forecast for like the next 2 weeks. So when we make another pass, it would be completely just flat and nice little dirt layer. And that actually creates that hard packed dirt on the top when you go by next time, prevents moisture from escaping out the top as well. So you're conserving moisture, you're getting rid of the grass, it's going to eat all your nutrients, and you're shooting it to the vines. Now if we wanted to add more nitrogen to the vines, we could till in a cover crop of legumes. Legumes naturally fix nitrogen. So if you plant 50 pounds of cover crop per acre, then you're going to get 50 pounds of nitrogen from those cover crops when you till it back in the spring. We don't need that much nitrogen. Sometimes we'll do that. If a block's performing pretty poorly, we'll plant the cover crop and till it in the next year. But this is not one of them. We were just taking the grass out just to help it along a little bit.